Veronica, a member of the popular clique in high school, alongside three Heathers, Heather McNamara, Heather Duke, and the mean-spirited, bratty leader Heather Chandler, sickened by Heather Chandler's constant manipulation and exploitation of anybody she views below her. After she meets JD, a seemingly charming outsider who fascinates her after he pulls a gun and fires blanks at homophobic jocks, and after a frat party turns sour resulting in Heather Chandler promising to ruin Veronica's reputation, Veronica jokingly suggests to JD that they get revenge, concocting a disgusting hangover remedy for Heather. However, JD sees this as an opportunity to be rid of Heather for good, giving her drain cleaner to drink, which kills her instantly. Framing the murder as Heather taking her own life, JD and Veronica become entangled in plans of revenge against bullies, which leads to death, resulting in their relationship together becoming increasingly uncomfortable and volatile. This is Michael Lehmann's Heathers, the cult favourite dark teen comedy starring Winona Ryder as the privileged yet tormented Veronica, and Christian Slater as the seemingly charming and manipulator JD. Heathers has garnered a dedicated following despite its commercial failure on release, for the unflinching manner which it portrays the uglier side to growing up with a sense of humour, teenagers struggling with mental health, sexual assault, self-harm, and murder are not commonly associated with teen comedies. By skewering the conventions of the teen comedy, there is much less focus here on romantic barriers, getting laid, or going to prom, as these aspects are intentionally belittled, and with a distinctive 80s sense of fashion and style that has aged surprisingly well. Heathers continues to be a comedy favourite that resonates with all who have suffered through their teen years. By focusing more on the ugly side of growing up, the normalised homophobia and bigotry, experiences of sexual harassment and assault, struggling mental health becoming a source of beratement, becoming the centre of vicious rumours, and even an attempt to take one's own life as a cry for help. Heathers serves as a testament to the struggling outsiders who observe the social cliques and hierarchies within school and wonder where they fit in. While Veronica is privileged, rich, and a part of the popular girls' clique, it's clear that she doesn't believe she truly fits in with the Heathers. Heather Chandler's frequent hostility and manipulation is enough to make anyone's skin crawl, and when Heather Duke takes her place as the clique's leader, the once victim of Heather Chandler's bullying becomes the bully herself. Veronica, as does the viewer, comes to recognise that it's less a matter that people are assholes, although yes, people can be assholes, but that the issue lies more in the heavy significance placed on superficial social status, schoolyard popularity contests, and who can intimidate who. While Heathers is centred on Westerberg High School, these problems of hostility stemming from insecurity regarding social status and popularity certainly extends into the wider world too. Just because school's over, it doesn't mean the assholes stop being assholes. Therefore, there's a sense of initial catharsis when Veronica and JD team up for a revenge plan, which JD takes one step too far by murdering their targets. Framing the murders as a target's own action, the suggestion of taking one's own life becomes a distastefully romanticised action, exaggerated by superficial statements from students who only had a vague connection to the deceased, and the local news broadcasters flocking to cover the increasing numbers of student deaths. In this way, the film is suggesting that the romanticising of death is commonplace and does very little to actually empathise with lost lives due to mental health struggle. This is very clear when Martha Dunstock, a target for frequent bullying due to her own weight, struggling with her own mental health, that she genuinely tries to take her own life. Even as she survives, Veronica seems to be the only person concerned for Martha's well-being. Heather Duke, a figure who has struggled with her own insecurity and relationship with food, sees an opportunity to mock Martha rather than empathise, regarding her mental vulnerability, likely a mixture of the corruptibility of power earned through her social status, as a replacement for Heather Chandler's hostile leadership, but also because insecurity threads its way through most teenage lives. Heather has another person to project her own insecurities onto, after she herself has experienced harassment over how she eats. Another example that showcases the imbalance of romanticising loss over demonstrating genuine empathy is when Heather McNamara, the most naive of the Heathers clique, calls into a late-night radio show to express that she's depressed, her grades are low, her parents are divorcing, and she believes that the jocks Kurt and Ram, who JD has murdered and framed as taking their own lives, took their own lives because she slept with them, placing more insecurity pressures on herself as if it were her own fault. Expressing her deepest anxieties, Heather Duke can only mock, rather than empathise with her supposed friend. In this way, Heathers is dissecting the inauthentic friendships held together solely through social status and schoolyard popularity. If the Heathers clique were friends, they wouldn't treat each other in the ways that they do. Veronica's action to distance herself from any clique and to connect with people she knows on a more personal basis therefore serves as a call for empathy, not just from the characters in the film, but for the viewers too. A call for empathy towards people struggling with their mental health, even if they may be people we're not particularly fond of. Even in JD, a character who is manipulative, psychologically and physically abusive, the film finds a sliver of empathy, as his murderous actions and his ultimate decision to destroy the school stems from his feelings of being unloved. His father is a destructive maniac, and JD has always been the resentful outsider, never truly fitting in. JD's own destruction of human life is a desperate cry for help. It doesn't justify his violent actions, but it certainly puts it all into a clearer perspective. While there's a sense that the film is cautioning viewers to beware of the signs of a seemingly charismatic abuser, somebody like JD, the film also promotes a rejection of the social pressures and stigmas that coerces young people towards a youth of insecurity and vitriol. It's no surprise why the film continues to resonate with outsiders, young and old. Fuck the haters, you do you. In conclusion, Heathers understandably continues to retain its cult following with its darkly funny story that encourages viewers to ignore social hierarchies in favour of connecting with others on a personal and empathetic level. Undeniably stylish, hilarious, disturbing, and subversive, the antithesis to the John Hughes teen flicks so frequently viewed as archetypical of 80s youth, Heathers deserves its place within the cinematic canon of great teen comedies. A special thank you to my incredible tier Patreon supporter Gil and my super tier Patreon supporter Constantine Bombelli.